Keep Lloyd sharp. We're an important political transition in the office. The end of Obama's presidency and the advent of a yet unknown new leader. How does a significant political transition like this impact our country? Lloyd.
Surprisingly little. One of the really interesting things when you look back at historical trends is how excited most people got about some of the major transitions in political movements. I'm thinking, for example, when William McKinley got murdered and Teddy Roosevelt took over. Well, those two guys were both Republicans, but they were diametrically opposite one another. They despised each other and hated each other's programs. Teddy Roosevelt was a progressive. McKinley was a much more conservative guy. The end result, however, was probably about the same, according to historians. There was supposedly a gigantic transition when President Eisenhower left office and President Kennedy took over, the first president born after, in the 20th century, blah, blah, blah. In the end, Kennedy actually ran to the right of Eisenhower. He ran arguing that we should do more to combat communism and have more missiles and that sort of thing than Eisenhower supposedly had. It made almost no difference at all. I think that's attributable to a quotation, or a scenario, I guess is a better term, that was in Arthur Schlesinger's book called 1,000 Days, which was about the Kennedy administration. And he quotes Kennedy as sitting in the Oval Office one day after realizing that some program or executive order or something that he had created wasn't having an effect. And Kennedy said, I really thought that if you got to sit in this chair, you could pretty much say something and it was going to happen. But he said it's a lot like dropping a rock in the pond. It makes a big splash right where you drop the rock. And then as the waves go out, they get shorter and shorter and shorter, and eventually they vanish. And that's probably the end result of most presidencies. I don't think that regardless of who wins the coming presidential election, I doubt it's going to have a gigantic impact on the country. By the way, you heard it here first. The two candidates are going to be Hillary Clinton and Mitt Romney. Money, if any of you want to go with it.
Yet again, I enjoyed it.